In 1988 at Wembley, the impossible happened. A terminally ill 9-year-old girl took the stage, danced with Tina Turner. After that night, her life extended by 4 years. This is the never-before-told true story of music history's most emotional moment. July 16, 1988, Wembley Stadium, London. History was about to be written at one of the world's most prestigious music venues. Tina Turner was performing the grand finale of the European leg of her Private Dancer World Tour. The completely sold-out stadium of 65,000 people was electric, energy palpable in the air. The concept was perfect. Tina had already ignited the crowd with hits like Smooth Criminal, Beat It, Rock With You. Now she had moved on to her biggest signature song, Billie Jean. The stage lights were dazzling, the sound system flawless. Tina Turner was at the peak of her performance. But that night, among the 65,000 people in the stadium, there was one little girl sitting in the special area, right in front of the stage, who would never see her 10th birthday. Emma Rodriguez was only 9 years old, had been fighting a life-or-death battle with one of the most aggressive types of brain tumors. For 8 months, the best neuro-oncologist at Madrid's Hospital Infantil La Paz had made the impossible decision for her family. Emma had a maximum of 2 weeks left to live. None of the treatments were working. The tumor was growing larger every day. Her parents, Maria and Carlos Rodriguez, had made the most difficult decision of their entire lives. They had brought their daughter out of the painful hospital days to London to fulfill one last dream. "Mama, before I go to heaven, I want to dance with Tina Turner," Emma had whispered 3 days earlier from under her oxygen mask, in a barely audible voice. "I want to show her my moonwalk. I want to be strong like her." Emma's hospital room was covered with Tina Turner posters. Even during the worst chemotherapy sessions, she would ask the nurses to play Private Dancer, saying the music helped her forget the pain. For Emma, Tina Turner wasn't just a musician. She was a symbol of strength and resilience. Maria had tried to explain to her daughter that this request was impossible. Tina Turner concerts were hard to get tickets for, especially with only a few days of planning. At a prestigious venue like Wembley Stadium, it was virtually a dream. But Carlos Rodriguez, a construction worker who had never asked anyone for help in his life, knew he would do everything possible for his daughter's last wish. Carlos spent all their savings, borrowed money, called every person he knew, friends from his construction company in Madrid, contacts from the Spanish community in London. At 3 p.m. that afternoon, through an old school friend working at the Spanish embassy, he managed to secure special access passes. It wasn't backstage access, but it was close enough to see the stage clearly, and for Tina Turner to notice them. 20 meters from the front row, in a special section with disabled access. That evening Emma was so weak that Carlos had to carry her from the hotel to the concert. The little girl was wearing her favorite Tina Turner Private Dancer t-shirt, with a glittery sequin glove replica on the front, and a colorful silk headscarf to cover the brown hair she had lost during chemotherapy. During the first hour and a half of the concert, Emma was literally in heaven. Despite her fatigue, constant pain, and difficulty breathing, she was singing along to every song. Although her small voice was lost in the noise of 65,000 people, her joy was visible to everyone around her. "This is the most beautiful night of my life, Mama," Emma whispered during a brief intermission, her eyes sparkling with genuine happiness. For the first time in months, Maria tried to hold back tears, knowing this would probably be Emma's last truly joyful moment. When the unforgettable opening bass line of Billie Jean began echoing from the stadium speakers, Emma's entire face and body lit up with seemingly impossible energy. This was her absolute favorite Tina Turner song. She had been practicing Moonwalk to this song for years, in her hospital room, even when she could barely stand. When Tina Turner emerged from beneath the stage, in that iconic sequin jacket, the stadium went wild. With microphone in hand, She was dancing on stage with that supernatural grace, as if gravity had different rules for her. She was in the middle of pop music history's greatest performance, about halfway through the song, while singing the lyrics "Billie Jean is not my lover," and pointing directly at the crowd. Something completely unexpected happened. From the special access section, just 20 meters away, a woman's voice cut through the music and noise of 65,000 people, like a K-knife. "Tina, please. My daughter is dying. She loves you so much." Maria Rodriguez's voice was filled with absolute desperation, with the final desperation of a mother who had absolutely nothing left to lose. Tina stopped mid-turn, her sparkling sequin glove frozen in the air. For a moment she looked completely confused, trying to figure out where the voice was coming from. The band, unsure of what was happening, began to slow the tempo but continued playing. The massive crowd also began to slowly quiet down, in confusion. "Tina!" Maria now screamed even louder, standing up and holding Emma in her arms, lifting her up so Tina could see her clearly. "Please. She only has days left. All she wanted was to dance with you." The stadium began to fall silent, section by section, 65,000 people looking curiously toward the woman, holding an obviously very sick, very small child, in front of the stage. Tina raised her hand to her security team, giving a stop signal. She walked to the front edge of the stage, squinting through the bright stage lights, to clearly see what was happening. "Ma'am," Tina said, her voice now coming through the stadium's sound system, with crystal clarity. "Could you please repeat what you said?" Maria, tears streaming down her cheeks, lifted Emma even higher, so Tina could see her perfectly. "This is my daughter Emma," she called out, her voice completely breaking with emotion. "She's 9 years old and dying from aggressive brain cancer. The doctors in Madrid said maximum 1 week. All she wanted was to see you perform live. She's been practicing moonwalk for you for years." The stadium was now in grave silence, except for the very faint hum of the sound system and distant London traffic. Tina stood at the very edge of the stage, looking down at the obviously struggling for life tiny girl in the Tina Turner t-shirt. "What's your name, sweetheart?" Tina called out in an extremely gentle and warm voice. Emma, despite all her weakness, managed to speak as loudly as the microphone could pick up. "Emma Rodriguez. I love you so much, Tina. I want to dance with you." Those 10 words, "I love you so much, Tina. I want to dance with you," spoken by a terminally ill 9-year-old girl, in front of 65,000 people, hit Tina Turner like a pea-sickle blow. Then Tina Turner did something that had never been done before in music history. She made an unprecedented move in major stadium concert history. She turned to her band and made the universal stop signal, complete stop signal. Then she addressed all the audience. "Ladies and gentlemen," Tina said into her microphone, her voice trembling with emotion, "I need your patience for a moment. Something much more important than any show is happening here right now. Please bear with me." Tina began walking determinedly toward the side of the stage, giving urgent signals to her security team. Within minutes, something incredible was happening at Wembley Stadium. Tina's professional security team was carefully escorting the Rodriguez family, using the special disabled ramp that led from backstage entrance to the stage. Stadium management understood the situation and was giving full cooperation. Emma was barely conscious, but awake enough to understand that her life's biggest dream was coming true. "Are we really going to meet Tina Turner, Mama?" she whispered to her mother in amazement. "Yes, darling," Maria said, both crying and smiling. "Yes, your biggest dream is coming true." When Tina Turner returned to the world-famous Wembley Stadium stage, carrying 9-year-old Emma Rodriguez in her arms, with extreme gentleness, 65,000 people seemed to have completely forgotten how to breathe. The sight of one of the world's biggest music stars, holding a little girl obviously battling death, was so powerful that no one knew how to react. "Ladies and gentlemen," Tina said into her microphone, her voice now filled with both strength and infinite tenderness, "I want to introduce you to my friend Emma Rodriguez. Emma is 9 years old and is currently fighting the bravest battle anyone could fight. But you know what? Emma is much stronger and much braver than all of us here. And tonight, Emma is going to help me finish this show together." The stadium exploded, but this wasn't normal screaming and shouting. This was respectful, deeply emotional applause, the kind people make when witnessing something truly sacred. Tina placed Emma with extreme care on the stage, next to the microphone. Despite her weakness, despite everything she had been through, Emma stood straight up and looked at the 65,000 people completely focused on her, with incredible courage. Emma has been practicing moonwalk for years. Tina announced to the crowd with great pride, "Would you like to see it?" The stadium filled with encouraging, supportive noise, but in a respectful way. What happened next was pure, absolute magic. When Tina began to slowly, gracefully moonwalk across the stage, Emma, this tiny, fragile but determined little girl, immediately began moonwalking right beside Tina. Her movements were shaky. She nearly fell twice, but Tina was there every time, supporting her with gentle but firm hands. "You're doing perfect, baby," Tina whispered to Emma. The sight of Tina Turner, an eternally ill 9-year-old girl, moonwalking together across Wembley Stadium's massive stage, was so breathtakingly beautiful that it would be impossible to say. A single eye in the stadium remained dry. Tina sat at her grand piano, with Emma standing right next to her, and began playing Billie Jean again, but this time much slower, much gentler, transforming it almost into a lullaby. "This is completely for you, Emma," she said into the microphone with infinite warmth. As Tina sang, something absolutely incredible happened. Emma, despite all her weakness, began to join in with a soft but clear voice. Her small, fragile voice blended with Tina's powerful vocals in a way that was both stunningly beautiful and deeply heartbreaking. But then something even more magical happened. All 65,000 people began to join in too, but softly, respectfully, reverently, transforming the song into a gentle, massive lullaby for a dying little girl. The entire Wembley Stadium was singing Billie Jean as a lullaby for Emma Rodriguez. When the song ended, Tina crouched down to Emma's exact level and whispered something extremely personal that only she could hear. Emma smiled, literally the first genuine peaceful smile her family had seen in weeks. "Emma," Tina said into the microphone, her voice full of genuine gratitude, "tonight you gave me the most special, most meaningful show of my entire career. Thank you infinitely for being here with me, for sharing your strength with me." As Tina prepared to escort Emma back to her parents, the little girl pulled something from her pocket and did something that absolutely surprised everyone. She pulled out a handmade friendship bracelet made with colored strings. "For you," Emma said in a barely audible but determined whisper, carefully tying it around Tina's wrist, "so you'll remember me when I'm in heaven." Tina Turner broke down crying on stage, in front of 65,000 people. Genuine, uncontrollable tears. Tina completed the entire remaining concert, wearing Emma's friendship bracelet, and every song she sang now seemed dedicated to the little girl in her mother's arms, in the special VIP area. After the show, Tina spent a full 2 hours with the Rodriguez family in her private dressing room. She signed photographs, gave Emma one of her personal sequined gloves, and personally promised to call her every day while she was in the hospital. But here comes the truly incredible, medically inexplicable part of the story. The part no one could have predicted. Emma Rodriguez didn't die in 2 weeks, or 2 months, or even 2 years. Something about that night, feeling the unconditional love of 65,000 strangers, having her biggest dream come true, seemed to give Emma a surge of life force that doctors could not explain. Emma Rodriguez lived 4 more years after that magical Wembley concert. 4 years that doctors said were medically impossible. 4 years filled with precious quality time with her family, more Tina Turner concerts, and most importantly, 4 fearless years. After that night, Emma was no longer afraid of death. Maria Rodriguez said years later, she knew completely that she was loved, not just by us, but by Tina and those thousands of people who sang with her that night. This gave her indescribable peace. During these miraculous 4 years, Emma became like a little sister to Tina. She would personally call every few weeks, visit her in Spain when she was in Europe. She even appeared as a special guest in one of her music videos. When Emma finally passed away peacefully in 1992, she was wearing the sequined glove that Tina had personally given her. That magical July night at Wembley, the experience with Emma Rodriguez profoundly transformed Tina Turner. After that defining night, Tina consciously began making meaningful connections with sick children at her concerts. Maybe not as dramatic as Emma, but she began scanning her audiences differently, actively seeking these secret moments. After encountering Emma, Tina was never the same, said Karen Fay, Tina's makeup artist for decades. She began to see her concerts not just as entertainment, but as opportunities to make profound impacts on people's lives. That little angel reminded Tina why she was truly there. Tina kept Emma's friendship bracelet until the end of her life. After her death, it was found in her bedroom, along with dozens of handwritten letters from Emma and personal photographs from that incredible night. The concert where Tina Turner brought Emma Rodriguez on stage became an absolute legend among fans. Bootleg recordings from that night exist among the most treasured Tina Turner recordings, not because of music quality, but because of the humanity they captured. In 1995, the Emma Rodriguez Foundation was established by her parents to fulfill the final wishes of terminally ill children. The foundation's motto was taken directly from what Tina said that night, something more important than any show. To date, the foundation has granted the wishes of over 15,000 sick children worldwide, many involving personal meetings with their favorite artists. The story of Tina Turner and Emma Rodriguez reminds us that sometimes the most important moments in life come when we stop what we're doing and focus on what truly matters. Tina could have ignored Maria's desperate plea. She could have finished her song, completed her show, gone home. After all, she had 65,000 other fans to think about. Instead, she chose compassion over convention, human connection over professional obligation. She chose to be Tina the human being, instead of Tina the performer. And in doing so, she gave a dying little girl 4 additional years of life, 65,000 people a memory they would carry forever, and reminded all of us that fame and success are meaningless if we don't use them to help others. Today there is a small plaque at Wembley Stadium that reads, "In memory of Emma Rodriguez and all children who remind us what truly matters." July 16, 1988. Every major artist who performs at Wembley sees that plaque and learns the story, and many fundamentally change their approaches to their own performances, because that July night story reminds all of us that we never know who's in our audience. We never know who needs a magical moment, a touch of hope, or simply to know that someone cares. Tina Turner stopped her show for Emma Rodriguez, but actually, Emma Rodriguez saved Tina's show by reminding her and all of us what performing is truly about. Not about lights, screaming and applause, about connection between human beings, about using whatever gifts we have to make someone else's life a little brighter, and sometimes, if we're very lucky, about giving a dying little girl the strength to live 4 additional years by showing her she was loved by 65,000 strangers and pop music royalty herself. If this incredible story of compassion and human connection moved you, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Share this video with someone who puts people before performance. Have you ever witnessed a moment when someone dropped everything to help another person? Share it with us in the comments. And don't forget to hit the notification bell for more amazing true stories about the heart behind music's greatest legends.